Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening Canning Recipes, a little bit of everything. It's Friday, as in gonna be fried today. We are expecting a cool front tomorrow. So I've been up since about 3 this morning, and I have been transplanting some of our seed starts, and we have moved them up under our tent here in the middle so that they get minimal sun. Now they'll get a little bit of morning sun, so I think they'll be all right. But yeah, it's already a busy morning. Let's take a gander at the pumpkins. And guys, I'm happy to report on this back lot, they're looking pretty good. Greg started these by seeds. He did dust them with the mycorrhizal. Looks like something's nibbling on that. He'll need to come out here and look at it and make sure. So some of you have been talking about grasshoppers. We are seeing some, but not many. And when I see them, I snip them right in two with my shears, because where I'm finding them is on my okra plants inside the high tunnel. I'm also happy to report that our bush beans on this back acre seem to be looking pretty good. They're getting about 2.5 to 3 hours of water starting at 4 a.m. And I will keep that up until we get some rain, because guys, that water goes all the way down to the other side of the world. It just seeps down, but I'm happy to see that our bush beans are doing pretty good. It's already warm this morning. There's no breeze, so it's a little stifling. But so anyway, about the only thing that you can do about your grasshoppers is throw some diatomaceous earth on your plants and on your leaves, and I would probably do it at night because they're pretty active in the morning, and see if that does some help. Now that's because we don't use any insecticides. Here are my purple hull peas, and we're keeping them watered, but guys, look over here. Look to each side of these. That's how dry we are. So these plants are the only thing really getting any water. And I still think that the heat might be nipping them a little bit. But it looks like I'm starting to get some new growth coming out of these, and I'm hoping to start seeing some soon. This heat is making everything take its time pretty much. Oh, so we're supposed to get a break tomorrow, and I really, really hope that it's a good break. Pray for a good break, guys, and pray for us to get some rain. Cantaloupes and watermelons are really struggling, especially because I'm getting some rabbit damage out here, and guys, there's really nothing I can do. You know, the next thing that we'll do next year is make sure and just load up about 2 or 3 rows. So if we start to get damage, we won't see it very much, but you can see they're struggling, and they're just not doing very good out here. This okra out here seems to be okay, although it's kind of stunted surprisingly too. It's still only about 1 foot, maybe 18 inches high, and it really should be much taller than that by now. But the good thing that is happening with all these plants that we put out here, whether they're prospering or not, is that each of them were dusted with the mycorrhizal fungi, which will help build this soil for next spring in our fall garden. So this is just part of the soil building process, and at least it's getting some nutrients that's going way down deep in those holes. But we're going to keep on going, guys, and we're going to keep on trying until we get this back acre in the shape it needs to be in to give us some nice, beautiful vegetables. So I'm very pleased about the pumpkins, and I'm very pleased about the bush beans. So our electricity started to flicker a little bit yesterday, and I told Greg he better get up there and get a bunch more gasoline. And our propane, we still have a lot of propane. Our generator is dual power or dual fuel sourced, so we seem to be okay in that area, and just we got to be prepared because the heat is so extreme. Any loss of electricity would be extremely detrimental to us and to our animals and to pop, and it just would not be good. Now the air quality here is terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. It's almost unbreathable in the afternoons when that heat comes up and there's a lot of dust in the air, and I know it's probably that Sahara dust, and anyway, but there's also a lot of pollutants in the air. Now, we live far enough away from the DFW Metroplex We didn't used to see that, and we didn't used to have any issues with our air, but we're starting to now. My girls are some troopers, that's for sure. They are really enjoying their watermelon in the afternoon, and you can see they got some mud puddles in there that we put in there so that they can get damp. And I know a lot of you have suggested putting in a pan with a brick and some ice, which I may start doing that. I'm just concerned that their area is kind of small, so putting a foil pan in there, I'm afraid the ice will melt almost instantly, and then the foil pan will start to heat up. So I have a lot of these seeds I still need to get transplanted today because I want them to be able to stay watered, and in these little trays it's hard to keep them watered all day. So the ones that look pretty healthy, I'll go ahead and transplant. The ones that don't, I'm going to go ahead and leave them in the seed start trays and try to keep them going until I'm able to transplant them some more. So our high is supposed to be 105 today. I imagine we'll get a little bit hotter than that depending on where we're at. But yeah, those high tunnels heat up quite quickly as soon as that sun starts coming up, which you can see right back there. So we got to get everything done first thing in the morning. Greg's been out here in the big high tunnel. He's getting me a place to put my carrots, possibly some turnips. So the soil looks really good, guys. It's just a mess in here though because it's so hot. But yeah, getting ready to start some of our root crops. So I had a question as to when will we put these plants in the ground after we put them in our 3-inch pots. That's really going to be determined by the weather here in Texas and what kind of August we have. We're going to try to keep them alive and keep them safe and keep them from getting root bound. And if we have to, we'll keep potting up before we decide to put them out there on that back acre. We just want to make sure that they can withstand the weather, the extreme weather that we're having right now in Texas. Now the only exception to that rule will be the tomatoes. Once the tomatoes are a little bit bigger, they'll probably go right into the ground because we really want to try to get a fall harvest, guys. So today is July the 21st. Let's see, August, September, October. We have a good 90 days, probably 100 days before we would expect any kind of freeze or frost. So maybe tomorrow I can hop in this pool and get cooled off a little bit. But today we still got a lot of work to do to make sure that we can give our best shot at a fall garden here in Texas. Thank you all for watching. Take care. God bless, and we will see you this weekend.